How does karma and samskaras influence the cycle of birth and rebirth?
So, what we say samskaras are these impressions that are embedded in the jivatma. So, I will explain in simple terms what is samskara. Suppose in your childhood you have done something naughty, you have done something, you have jumped from from your house to another house, or you have eaten something that was not meant to be eaten, or you have troubled somebody in the family jokingly, and then your mother comes to rebuke you and she scolds you. Maybe she hits you and very strictly says, if you do this again, I warn you, I will hurt you very badly. Right? So the child, that memory of the mother rebuking, mother is usually loving and kind and all these things. But in that moment, she has to rebuke because he might be crossing the boundaries of what is acceptable in the family. Right? So the mother rebukes the child and says, I warn you, I will hit you, or I will do something to scare the child. I will punish you, for example. So the child is only 5 years old or 4 years old. Suddenly, at an impressionable age, he remembers that the mother is capable of hurting. So suppose this child has done something like maybe eating a sweet, a sweet dish that was maybe meant for the guests, or like some festival and it was meant for the deities in the puja room. Right now the child becomes very very scared. Growing up he might forget this event altogether. We all have been there. We all have these kind of thousands of these kind of events that have happened in our life, but we forget them. We forget what happened, right? And we forget even the rebuking of the mother. To some extent we will forget that, right? But we will always remember how that fear arose in us, right? That fear remains. So somehow it is very much possible for a person who took that very seriously, that individual who took that rebuking and that punishment seriously, every time he sees a sweet dish, instead of enjoying or relishing the taste of that sweet dish, he might get afraid, right? Or when he is eating, he might eat with certain sense of like fear or guilt that somebody is watching or somebody might punish him, right? So this fear every time associated with that sweet dish. Now what do we call this? This is only samskara, right? So this is samskara from this life. Now how samskaras work is, if it is not dealt with, see, this is a very light thing. It could be deeper traumas, and if it is not dealt with in a good way, in by bringing awareness into the activity, it is very much possible that you will die with a lot of these traumas embedded in your consciousness. And when this consciousness reincarnates, when this jiva reincarnates, he is born with all these fears. So you will see some children are very afraid of water. Children, 5-year-olds, 3-year-olds are very afraid of water. They will never go near water. And there are some children who love water, who will jump into they're called water babies, right? So they'll jump, they will swim, or they already know swimming at a very young age. They love it. Similarly, many things. Some people love sport, some children love sport, some people are very much interested in the arts, some take up singing at a very young age. What are these things? Are all purva samskaras, past life samskaras. Samskaras are predispositions or impressions embedded in consciousness. It is very simple. There are three types of lines or three types of karma, three types of samskaras, you can say, to some degree. The first one is when you draw a line on water, right? What happens when you draw a line on water? Nothing happens, right? This is also samskara, but nothing happens. There is no impression on the individual's consciousness. It comes and it goes. An event happened, it left no impression on you. The second thing is drawing a line on sand. right? It stays for some time, and then there's a light breeze or there's somebody stomps on it, the line is erased. These kind of events also happen. We meet somebody speaks rudely to you. It doesn't matter too much to you. You know that this person, I should avoid this person, or something like that, or some unhappy event happened. Something not very drastic, and you're not affected deeply, affected by it. So this is the second kind of action. And the third one is like a line on the rock, but like carved on the rock. Now, the line that is carved into a rock, it takes years and years and years, and it takes maybe many years for rain and whatnot to erase that line. That rock itself has to be you know dealt with severe blows to be erased of that line. These are the kind of lines, these are the kind of samskaras that survive a lifetime. Over and over, lifetimes together, we will take birth over and over to deal with these samskaras. Because samskaras are what is holding our consciousness to the body. These are the pinpoints. These are the things that pin your consciousness to the body. Otherwise, why is the body? Why is the consciousness in the body? What is the reason? What is the glue that holds the consciousness to the body? What is the glue that holds the Atman to the body? There is no glue. The glue is only samskara. With this samskara, it is pinned to the body. As long as you have these things, you will always be embedded in a body. The more samskara, the denser samskaras, you will be born, you know, descend in descending order. Could even be born as a dog or as an animal, as a buffalo, whatever it is, right? Suffer diseases because it shrinks your consciousness, it burdens your consciousness. Lighter samskaras, you're freeing yourself of samskaras, you're going up in hierarchy, in a consciousness hierarchy. People, you could be born in the human body now, and in your next lifetime, you could be born as an yaksha, higher beings, right? Gandharva, all these things.
What is the ultimate purpose of this cycle of birth and death, and how can we break free from it?
See, what is the purpose of birth and death? See, from a individual point of view, and there are 2 points of view I can give. One is the individual point of view, and one is the point of view of the Gnani, of the point of view of Shiva himself. Right? From the point of Shiva, the whole thing does not even exist. It is like it's an illusion. It is a wave of consciousness. Right? So there is no point. What is the point of you receiving a light breeze on your forehead, for example? Nothing. It is just what it is. Correct? That breeze that lightly hits you has no value. It makes you feel happy for a moment. Similarly, for Shiva, this breeze of consciousness, this breeze of existence, this breeze of this whole cosmos, it is out of his ananda. It just arises out of ananda, so to say. But in reality, it has no existence for Ishvara. So, from that point of view, from the point of view of Agnani, there is no birth and death, and all these things are illusions, right? And illusions are for the jivas, not for Shiva. So, from that point of view, there is no purpose in anything whatsoever. It might sound very hard to hear something like that because we all seek purpose and meaning for our life. But like a dream, you know, you're sleeping and you have a beautiful dream. What is the purpose of that dream? It was nice. But now that you're awake, that dream has no value whatsoever. Even if you were a king or a prince or a queen over there, it has no value because it was not real to begin with. So from Shiva's perspective, from the perspective of a Gnani, you can say the whole world is an illusion and it has no real existence. So when what has no real existence has no intrinsic value. But having said that, from the point of view of Jiva, from the point of view of the individual, now what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of death? Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. What this means is be born again to die again. See, now we want a job, we want money, we want wealth, good wife, children, family, happiness, cars, whatever you want to say. And then to what? To what degree? It amounts to nothing. No matter all these things, even if you have, you're going to die. Right? All these things will not bring you happiness, right? If you were happy, see, happiness is what? Yes, I have it all. I don't seek anything else. But this state does not exist for the individual because you have it all. I'm very happy is a brief moment, right? Only when you attain an object for that minute, suddenly there is relief from desire. You don't desire anything in that moment. Suppose I buy a new car, the car arrives at my doorstep. In that moment, when I go and sit in the car, there is great excitement. And then there is joy, there's a lot of happiness. What is the happiness arising from? It is not from the car, it is from the fact that my desire for car has disappeared in that moment. I don't desire for anything in that moment. The dropping of desire is happiness, not attainment. Attainment means you've dropped the desire for a brief moment. Again, after 15 days, that comes. Similarly, nobody is happy unless you have achieved. True happiness is achieving your own self, means attaining liberation. What is liberation? Knowing your own state. Jiva cannot be happy. No Jiva is happy. Jiva can only be happy when he becomes Shiva. When he realizes he is Shiva. Right? Jiva is a misapprehension. He is imagining himself to be a limited identity, and this limited identity wants unlimited happiness. Limited identity will have limited happiness and lots of sadness because it is based on a lie. Right? So, to attain happiness, we must go beyond the concept of birth and death, right? And these are concepts. It might say, no, no, you're going to die. Of course, we're going to die, but the death is a concept in consciousness. Our whole existence is an imagination in consciousness. You might say it looks very real. Your dream also looks very real. Why does it not exist right now? You are existing in your dream. It was just as it is now, right? I have personally pinched myself in dreams, and I have got the proof that it is real. And when I wake up again and I'm like, I pinched myself, how did I felt the pinch also? So it is as real as the dream is as real as this reality. Right? Waking up from this dream is only liberation, is only becoming Shiva. And that is the purpose of this existence.
Are there signs or memories in this life that reflect experiences from past lives?
See, whatever life we are leading right now is nothing but a continuation of past lives. Things come easily to us. Some things come very easily to us. Some things are very difficult in our lives. Some children have a natural tendency for arts. They can sing, they can dance, they can do. Some people are very good at sport. They're physically very active. They already know how to do something. Some people are good at math. These are all predispositions from the past life. So what you have done for many lifetime, there is a continuity. Unless you don't want to be associated with that whatsoever, generally speaking, there is a continuity. See, suppose, for example, there are so many temples in South India, in Tamil Nadu especially, where I have walked into the temple and I was deeply aware of everything about that space. Right? Like I would almost know how to reach, not almost, I would know how to reach the Garbhagudi. I would know which pillar has what kind of a sculpture. Almost a lot of detailing. And I had, for many years, I used to have a sense of deja vu. Every time I entered a temple, I would be like, I've been here before. I know this place. I know how to do this. I know all the ins and outs of the temple. What does that mean? Either I dreamt about it, which is possible, and I've seen it in my dream, or I've lived this. Right? Like this, predispositions are there, and impressions are there, and sometimes you remember the past. But the problem is there are many people who are interested in knowing about their past lives and all those things. I suggest first heal the traumas of this life because it sounds very exciting remembering past lives. But you have lost your brothers, you lost your sisters, your wives, your children, your parents. There's so much trauma attached to your past lives because past life is what? It ended in some way, and there is no one past life, right? There are past lives, there are hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes that you can remember. Once you find a way to go within, you will find. as much as you want. And it is, to a large extent, I would say, it's garbage. What is done is done, right? And there are traumas attached to it. So nothing you're going to gain from going back into the past and trying to discover what you were. It's not as glamorous or as, poetic or beautiful as we imagine. So I suggest, whatever you are dealing with, God in his infinite kindness has given you a forgetfulness, because you forget, you are still existing. Otherwise we would all be overwhelmed. But today we have few people around us who we really deeply care about, who we worry about, all these things, right? Even with this we are overwhelmed. So imagine all of that, all the bad that has happened to you, all the things that have gone down the wrong way. It's not easy. So God in his infinite kindness has given you forgetfulness. Be forgetful, no problem with that, and focus on these. So what is past life predisposition? How can we remember past life? All these things are not so important. What is in this present moment? What exists is only this present moment. Live in this present moment and heal yourself in this present moment by being alive, by existing in this moment.
How can we live in a way that prepares the soul for liberation and ends our karmic cycle?
See, how do you end the dream? How do we end dreams? Right? You wake up. Similarly, how do we end this waking dream? There is no karmic cycle. There is no, it is so impossible to wake up. All those things are, they are real as long as you believe it to be real. So, the realizing the unreality of the world is the first step. How do we realize the unreality of the world? See, I cannot go say, okay, whatever is in front of me is not real. My mother is not real. My father is not real. That is not the way. You have to go within. See, just looking at the world and saying Sarvam Maya, that doesn't help. Everything is Maya. That doesn't mean I can go and scream at my boss or tell boss you don't exist. My job doesn't exist. My responsibilities don't exist. You have to exist on this earth and do all your necessary actions, and as to the best of your ability, take up all your responsibilities, whatever it is. The journey is within, right? The only question, the only way we can enter is to ask ourselves, who am I? Right? Who am I? As soon as you ask this question, the answer comes from within. And the answer is not verbal. The answer is not I am Kanchi, I am this body, I am this person, I am this one son, I am, whatever my job is. No. There is a sense of I amness within us. So catch hold of the sense of I amness and go to the root of it. There you will find your answers. Right? Nowhere else. It is not even in the sense of, okay, world is Maya and all. You will realize the reality of the world. It's not that the world does not exist, right? But it is that the world exists in your consciousness. And consciousness, to a large degree, the contents of consciousness is a projection on Atman. Right? It is a projection on Atman. The Atman is real. Right? Not that the world is only unreal, it doesn't exist, whatever you see is all false illusion. All those things are okay. But it is a projection on Atman. So find out who is this Atman. When we say who am I, when I say I, when we'll go to the root of this I, that is the source. Atman is the source of that I. Atman is another name for I am. Aham is only Atman. I am Atma Brahma. Right? Going to the root of this, that is the purpose of life, and that is the way to end the cycle of karma. That is the way to wake up. There is no big explosion happening in consciousness. All these things don't happen. Right? Those happen maybe, I don't know, in some movies or books or in your imagination. Right? It is only becoming aware of your natural state. It is only becoming aware of who you are. That is only liberation.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe for more. With grace and gratitude, see you next time.